You might think Schedule 1 is just a goofy game about dealing dope, but there's actually something going on under the surface. I dove back into the story, pieced it all together, and I finally understand why Hyland Point has a curfew, and what really happened to the Benzies family. By the end of this video, it will all make sense to you too. You'll have a completely different view of the situation that's going on in Hyland Point. We first need to know how we got here. We, as the character, have just moved into this city from the small town of Serena Flats. We were living on a secluded ranch with our Uncle Nelson, helping out with his illicit drug trade business by picking up packages for him, while also dealing our own weed to the town's residents. However, our luck ran dry and the police raided the ranch. Luckily, we were sleeping in an RV out front, so we were able to start it up and get out of there unscathed. Leaving behind the sandy streets of southern Serena Flats, we drove all the way out west to the greener town of Hyland Point. We arrived after a long journey and found a nice little clearing in the woods to park up. We get a text from an unknown number claiming to be our Uncle Nelson. He says to get in contact with him via a phone booth, so we head into town for the first time. We find a phone booth that's ringing, we answer and hear Uncle Nelson's voice. He states that the feds have caught up to him and he's currently being held while awaiting trial. Now, I've got a host of information when it comes to Uncle Nelson's situation, but I'm gonna save all that for another video. In the meantime, he states that there's cash that he put around the town for one reason or another, and says that we can use it to get started. So we go around town to collect all the cash, but on our way back to the RV, we notice a large explosion nearby where we parked. As we get closer, we begin to realize that it's our RV that's engulfed in flames, with debris that's thrown about the area. As we enter the clearing, we find a note left outside stating, "Welcome to Hyland Point. This is our territory, don't interfere." Signed by someone named TB. So we rush back into town and get on the phone with Uncle Nelson, where he discloses to us that there's a powerful cartel in town by the name of the Benzies Family. But he's also surprised that they were able to find us so quickly. The signature on the note says TB, so we know one of the Benzies has a first name starting with T, but we never see any other signs of this TB person beyond this first note. And this leads us into our first theory. The Benzies family was able to find us on the very first day that we arrived in Hyland Point, but where did they go after this? I mean, they made quite a statement by absolutely obliterating our living space, but why do they just stop there, never to be seen again? Well, we quickly begin to realize that the town of Hyland Point has many serious issues. I mean, on the very first night, we experienced the city's curfew that's enforced by the police and put in place by the local government. After 9 p.m., everything is completely shut down, and not only shut down, but you'll be arrested if you're found outside of your home. This is an extreme protocol for a city to be following, yet many residents choose to stay. In some American cities, you'll find curfews like this that have put in place, but they're typically reserved for minors. For example, in Compton, California, it's unlawful for anyone under 18 to be in a public place after 10 p.m. There are exceptions to this, such as being with an adult, but those restrictions do exist. So we have to wonder why residents put up with these restrictions that are applied to all ages. We don't know what events led up to this curfew, but I think that the local government hasn't been able to control the overflow of drugs into the city, so they've begun using extreme measures. This also lines up with the behavior of law enforcement during these hours of curfew. You'll notice that it seems like all of the residents are free to roam the city at night. Even though we hear the sirens blare, see the bright signs posted throughout the town, and deal with officers who will place us under arrest for being out, we see normal residents going about their business with no issues. Could it be that the Benzies were having trouble moving their product with these restrictions in place? I believe the town is targeting specific groups of people and are not worried about the residents who work regular jobs. I think the government didn't have enough evidence to indict the Benzies family, so instead they're trying to shut them down with brute force. They might not have enough evidence to arrest the Benzies for dealing drugs, but they can arrest them for being out at night, especially if that's when they're going to be moving products around, hoping to get them on charges of possession, or even better, intent to distribute. This perfectly explains why we seem to be the only one that this rule applies to. The city uses the curfew as a legal loophole to arrest suspected dealers. I don't believe that the Benzies are gone for good. I think they're just skipping town until things die down a bit. They've likely moved their operations to another town so that they can freely work throughout the night and deal with less pushback from the local government. The Benzies will return to town one day, and they're gonna want their customers back. This brings us to another point. Every single resident in this city appears to have issues with severe drug addiction. Hyland Point has two major exports: scenic views and hard narcotics. As you settle in and begin to meet people, you realize that there isn't a single person you've met who isn't trying to buy drugs off you. And they don't just buy from you either. They come to your house at 2 a.m., sprint across the road and climb fences like it's American Ninja Warrior Crack Edition. This is easily one of the worst cases of drug addiction that any city has ever seen. The only people we don't see actively doing drugs are the people on the police force. So, it makes total sense that the city has resorted to extreme measures in order to curb this issue. I mean, we see residents from all classes indulging in this behavior. The crazies are addicted, the cooks, mothers, fathers, even someone like Kevin Oakley, who's just a young lad that works at the supermarket, is hooked. The drugs in Hyland Point will certainly destroy the city if they're not brought under control. So we have to ask ourselves, what are the odds that the same day that we arrive is the same day that the Benzies decide to skip town for a bit after giving us a scare? Well, this may not actually be the case. The Benzies family may have already fled the city by the time we arrived, but with the extreme measures taken by local law enforcement, they're going to be willing to do anything to keep their city clean. Now, this could even mean using brute force against a new seller in town to dissuade us from continuing there. The RV that we arrive in not only contains marijuana plants that are probably leaking smell outside, but our own Uncle Nelson used to live in this town. He probably used this exact same RV to deal here prior. It's an older model too, so it's completely possible that he used to live in this RV here. It is no coincidence that our vehicle was taken out the very first day in town. I believe there's a good chance that the police used the Benzies name as a front, destroying the RV in hopes of destroying our ability to sell products in their town. If I mysteriously stop uploading after this video, you know why. The Hyland Point PD has officially knocked at my door. All of this lines up with the original Curfew theory, showing that it was able to push out the Benzies, and now they just need to keep any new dealers from showing up and they will have actually solved their drug issues. Clearly, it's not actually working though. They're gonna need to either hire more officers or train their officers better, as our drug business has been booming. Maybe since they locked up Uncle Nelson, Hyland Point can get some reinforcement from federal agencies like the DEA. While the police are doing their best to stop dealers, they also have a familiar face on their team that may be giving them insider information. I think I have some serious research to do. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. This one was super fun to make. Let me know in the comments down below what your theories are, and click this button on the screen to watch more of my Schedule 1 content. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in the next one.